Good morning. Today we are continuing working with our fractions. Our last objective, we were adding and subtracting those fractions. Today we are working on PO17. I can multiply fractions by fraction. So, good news. When multiplying fractions, you do not need to have common denominators. Remember, when we were adding and subtracting, they had to be the same denominator. So you had to multiply the top and the bottom to find that common multiple that they had. We had to find that scale factor so we could have common denominators. Easier when we multiply. So let's look at this big, huge bar. If we're going to multiply 1/2 by 1/4, we're going to think of that 1/2. So if we break that bar into a half, then we want 1/4 we want a half of that 1/4. So we're going to look at, I said that wrong. Let's do it this way. We're going to break it up into our 4s because we have 4s here. 1/4. So we're breaking our bar up into 4s. Then 1/2 of 1/4. We're going to look at a half of 1/4. This right here is 1/4 of our bar, and we want 1/2 of it. So each of those sections would be broken up into halves. So we started with 4ths of our bar, and then we broke those 4ths into halves. So if we only want 1/2 of 1/4, we just want this first section. So 1/2 of 1/4. So if we're looking at it with our bars, we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sections, and we only want one of them. So if we break our bar up into 4ths and then that 4th into a half, we can see how small down we're going, and we can count it out. There are 8 boxes now, and we want one of those boxes, so 1/8. Now let's think of 5/6 of 2/3. So I'm going to break my boxes up into my big bar into thirds, because we've got thirds here. How many boxes do you think I need to break a third into? So if I have my thirds, I'm going to break okay. So if we have 2/3, that goes to here. 1, 2. So our 2/3 goes to here. So we are wanting to break those 2/3 into 6. So I'm going to break this into 6 sections. Because we had 2/3, so I broke my big bar into thirds, and I want 2 of them, because it's 2/3. Then I'm going to break those 2/3 up into 6 pieces. Then I'm going to look and I'm going to say there was 1, 2, 3 boxes that were in 1/3. So in this last section, I need to make them 3 boxes. Then how many sections do I need out of that? Well, this would be 1/6. This would be 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, and 6/6. How many do I want? How many is that? 5. So I'm going to go to right here. So this is 5/6 of my 2/3. So to find my denominator, I'm gonna say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 boxes altogether. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. So it would be 5/9. Because there are 5 boxes out of the 9 in 5/6. So I want you to understand how we're breaking it up. It's 1 bar, but when we're multiplying those fractions, we actually end up with a smaller piece than what we start. When we think of multiplying our whole numbers, 5 times 6 is 30. You get a much bigger number. But when we're multiplying fractions, we actually end up with a smaller number. Because 5/6 of 2/3, we only have that much of that whole bar. So we end up with a small amount because when multiplying those fractions, you get that smaller amount. How many of us know the rules, the shortcut to multiplying these fractions? Instead of drawing out our bar and breaking it up into the different ways, how did you learn how to multiply fractions last year? Has anybody multiplied fractions before? James?
Yeah, you can just do 5 times 2, 6 times 3.
Yeah, you multiply across. So if we had 5/6 times 2/3, you multiply across. So you would have 10 and 18. Well, how did I get 5/9 if multiplying across is 10/18? Bennett? You have to simplify, 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 my friends. So I can divide a 2 out of 10, and I get 5. 18 divided by 2 gives me that 9. Simplify, simplify, simplify.
And can you cross reduce?
You could cross simplify first.
Yes.
It's still simplifying. You either simplify first or you simplify at the end. Either way, you get the same answer. Do people know what Jillian was talking about when she said cross simplify? Let's refresh our memories on how we do that. We have 5/6 times 2/3. You can simplify first and say, oh, look, going diagonally, 6 and 2, I can divide my 2 out there. Divide by 2, divide by 2. So 5 and 3, I can't simplify that at all. That's as simple as it gets. So my 5 and my 3 stay, my 3 stay the same. But 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Now I can multiply going across. 5 times 1 is 5. 3 times 3 is 9. So either way, you're simplifying. Some people really like simplifying first, doing that cross simplifying. Some people like to simplify at the end. Either way, you need to simplify down to the lowest fraction you can get. Okay? So, the shortcut for multiplying fractions is to multiply across. You don't have to go to that bar every time. Divide the bar up and then divide those boxes up and then count it out. You don't have to do all of those steps. But I did want you to see what we're doing when we're multiplying those fractions. For our work today, it says multiply the fractions. You can cross simplify if you're able. Multiply going across. Always check, can I simplify at the end? On the test, when it says your answer should be in simplest form, if your answer is not in simplest form, is it correct? No, it's not. When the directions say simplest form, you have to always check, is there a factor that I can divide out of my numerator and denominator? Has to be the same scale factor. I can divide a 2 out of both top and bottom. It has to be the same scale factor. You can't just say, oh, I can divide a 5 out of the 10, I can divide a 9 out of the 18. No, it has to be the same number, same scale factor you're dividing out of both the top and the bottom. So you are going to do the math. You're going to multiply across. So 3 times 5, 4 times 8. What is 3 times 5? 15.
Oh, dang.
What is 4 times 8? 32.
Wow.
Then you need to say, is there a scale factor that I can divide them both by? No, they are the same. They are as low as they can go. So 1532s is my answer. So you're going to circle it. That is your answer. Now, I'm going to erase this so I can scroll up. We have some word problems at the bottom. So you're going to need to decide what fractions you are multiplying to find the answer. So you're going to read through these word problems and really think about it. Okay? I want you to do your best, keeping in mind that we are multiplying in this objective, so our word problems are going to have to do with multiplying our fractions. Are there any questions on our assignment for today? So with that, I'm going to say goodbye to our friends at home. We hope you are well, and we hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.